Taurus and Capricorn. They are feminine earth sign energies. And they are the signs of Queen Elizabeth and Kate Middleton. When I think of Taurus and Capricorn, well, yes, Capricorn gets the bad rap of being stuck with the Devil card, which I'm not even going to go into that on this video because it's completely ridiculous that that card gets shoved off onto Capricorn. I don't agree with it personally, especially if it's supposed to be a feminine vibration sign, but whatever. What I picked out, what resonated with me thinking about talking about Capricorn is the world. And thinking about talking about Taurus, of course, is the Queen of Winter or the Queen of Swords, which I often say is the Queen herself. Because they are feminine energy earth signs. However, there is a masculine element to both of them as well. And I'll get into why I think so later. Queen of Swords is tough as nails, right? She usually represents an air sign, but I think of this as a very tough as nails ice queen. Tauruses can be very much like that. I feel like people who think that they're all these lusty, feminine, super receptive type of women have not met certain female Tauruses because they can be tough as fucking nails and stubborn. And when I think of the Queen of Winter, who is an ice queen, I think of Taurus. Because she's called Queen of Swords in the original tarot deck, but especially in this deck, the Radley Valentine, Doreen Virtue, Angel Fairy Tarot card deck, I think of Taurus when I think of the Queen of Winter, that ice queen. She's got a little bit of an icy exterior. She's very decisive, very bossy, knows what she wants. Then when I think of Capricorn, the world actually is a representation of Capricorn in a way, because Capricorn really is very much about the world and how they find success in the world and how they can lead, how they can establish themselves with worldly things. But they lead more by example because Capricorn a lot of times can be introverted and shy. But at the same time, there's a very strong importance in Capricorn's life to have material comfort. And that's why the Devil card kind of comes in, because it's all about the materialism and the comfort and the lust and the feeling good type of aspect. But I think of the world as a little bit softer interpretation of that, having all those worldly things, having all that, you know, surrounding you. So what's interesting to me is that they always kind of call Capricorn a feminine earth sign. I do think Capricorn can be a feminine earth sign. I mean, Kate Middleton is very feminine. She's very shy, very soft-spoken. She's very, very feminine energy, both in a patriarchal sense, which is based on gender stereotypes, and also based in a spiritual sense. I feel her essence is very feminine. But Capricorn, in a way, to me, can almost be a mixture of masculine as well, because there's this material wealth pursuit for Capricorn and the success pursuit of the world, the pursuit of the world and the earthly things that the world offers, that makes Capricorn a little bit of a masculine energy as well. And I'm just going to look at something just to familiarize myself a little bit more with Capricorns. Okay, yeah, so some of the most successful, determined people in history were Capricorns. Elvis Presley, Stephen Hawking, and Muhammad Ali. These are people who were the best at what they did. They were extremely determined people who didn't back down despite obstacles. Elvis ended up getting an addiction problem, unfortunately. That is one aspect with Capricorn sometimes, like Virgo, getting addictive. But there was also this side to him that was very lusty, very, very attractive. Same with Muhammad Ali, you know, and in addition to that, you know, Stephen Hawking, who had all these challenges, he still was at the top of his field. He was a genius, just like Elvis was a musical genius. I think it parallels Virgo in that way, where they're kind of like sister signs, where a lot of times they will try to be the perfectionist at what they do. You know, they will try to be the best at what they do. And Taurus, on the other hand, is a very stubborn, I know what I want, my way or the highway type of sign, but also a very strong contrast to that is an appreciator of beauty and all the good things in life, loving food, loving clothes, loving beauty, loving fashion. They tend to be good dressers as well. Taurus, they tend to always look really nice. Very sharp dressers, very into fashion. I knew somebody who was a model who was a Taurus. And both signs actually have a mix of masculine and feminine, which is interesting because on the one hand, Capricorn is supposed to be a feminine earth sign, but then it's symbolized by the Emperor and the Devil. The Emperor also is another symbol of Capricorn because Capricorn is named as the father of the zodiac. So he's kind of like the staunch old man who's set in his ways and he can't, you know, change from what he believes in, and he always wants to do everything the same way. And he's like, I'm just going to do what I want when I want type of guy, right? But at the same time, Capricorn is very lusty, very, you know, into liking the pleasures of the world and what the world has to offer, that lusty Venus pleasure, even though it's not ruled by Venus, you know, and also Capricorn can be a bit shy and a bit receptive and a bit introverted, which is, again, feminine energy. We're not talking about ego. We're not talking in that aspect about biology. When I talk about shy, receptive, introverted, we're referring to the yin spiritual principle of feminine or darkness or moon or introversion, whereas the sun is extrovert and shining. And then we go to Taurus and we get more of that lusty Venusian because Taurus is ruled by Venus like Libra is, where I feel like male Tauruses, they uphold Venus as this goddess, right? They put Venus on a pedestal and they're so masculine. Tauruses tend to be very drawn to me as a Virgo. They like Virgos. And they really put women up on a pedestal, a male Taurus does. But in the contrast, the female Tauruses are so very feminine looking. A lot of them have large chest, physical characteristics. I've noticed this. A lot of them are very soft and feminine looking. They tend to really enjoy their food, so they're more voluptuous a lot of times. Very feminine appearance. And not just in appearance, but like a feminine, sensitive, soft inner core, even though they have a hard shell, almost like Cancer does. So there's a strong contrast of masculine, feminine in both of these signs. Going back to what I was saying about Tauruses. So Audrey Hepburn is an example of a Taurus. Great example of what I just said. Very feminine, very refined, great taste. She was a model, actually, I believe. And then contrast that. Look at the male Tauruses. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. How much more masculine and gorgeous. I always had a crush on him. Can you get? Masculine. But he's got this feminine side, you can tell, where he puts women on a pedestal, right? You can tell he's a really nice guy. Like, this is not a jerk. And then we have George Clooney, who was one of the biggest ladies' men ever. But you know why? Because he understands ladies. Because he puts Venus on a pedestal. And I think The Rock probably did it even more. He's more of a family man. But even so, both George and The Rock, very handsome men, and have that feminine side that you can see where they understand women. And they really put Venus on a pedestal because they are ruled by Venus or Aphrodite. And then we have that extreme feminine, extreme refinement, good taste, good food, beautiful clothes, amazing taste. Honestly, out of all of the signs, I think Taurus probably has the best taste. And you have Audrey Hepburn, the epitome of that. So that is Taurus in the positive. And then, as I said, for Capricorns, we have Muhammad Ali and Elvis Presley and Stephen Hawking. Amazing minds, incredibly intelligent people. And Kate Middleton, for a female example, highly intelligent girl. You know, you can tell she's smart, but she's just shy about it. Very articulate when she speaks. And I think she's the thing with Capricorns is they can be very humble. You know, Stephen Hawking was like that. Kate Middleton's like that. Muhammad Ali, not so much. I think he might have had an ascendant sign that's a fire sign, which would add more ego to the way he acted. But Capricorns can be very humble, very introverted, very shy, and incredibly brilliant, incredibly intelligent. Similar in that way to Virgo. Very, very two intelligent signs. And Taurus, I feel like having the best taste, the very best taste. If you want somebody to pick out something for you, you know, for a gift, you go with a Taurus. As long as they're going to be a generous Taurus, because sometimes in the negative, Tauruses can be cheap, but if they care about you, they're not at all. Very generous if they care about you or they want to impress you. And they just love to be comfortable, great taste in design, great taste in clothes, great taste in food. So let's go into the negatives. The negatives for Taurus and Capricorn are very much about excess. So Capricorn will go in excess because they could be ruled by the Devil card, which is about the 7 deadly sins. So think of some of them. Greed, lust, having too many sexual partners. Not that I judge on that, but to the point where it gets unsafe for them. Maybe making risky decisions. Excess of using substances, like Elvis did. He used too many substances. It got an addiction to them. Somebody who pushes themselves too hard. Sometimes Capricorn's worst enemy can be themselves, because they push themselves so hard. It's like they have such an ambition to have the world, to reach this pinnacle of the world, that they push themselves so hard. It's like, who is going to be there for them? You know, they're pushing themselves so hard, they isolate themselves from everybody, kind of, in a way. And Taurus can be overindulgent to the point where they get grossly overweight, where it's unhealthy for their health. I don't mean grossly like they look gross. I mean grossly like large, like they actually get physically very large, to the point of obesity. There are a lot of Tauruses that became obese. They can also be very vain. They have an explosive temper, like volatile, like you don't even want to be around them. You do not want to be around a Taurus with the temper blown off the lid. You do not want to be around them. Let me just tell you. I know a female Taurus in my family, and she is like, we like to joke around, she's like a dictator to the person she's married to. Dictator, like, whoo, like, wow, when you watch that, you know? Bossy pants. Taurus is the bossy pants in the funny way, but scary dictator to the extreme. And Capricorn, you're just too damn hard on yourself, and you could work yourselves into the ground where there's not enough self-care with Capricorns. Capricorn's biggest flaw is overindulging to the point of addictions, sex addiction, drug addiction, etc. Or if it's not that, if they're a straight and narrow Capricorn that follows all the rules, they can wear themselves down by overachieving and pushing themselves too hard. So somebody like Kate Middleton, she wouldn't be the type that would be promiscuous or do a bunch of, you know, substances. Hell no, she would not be that type. But she'd be the example of somebody who, if she was still out doing what she was pursuing in school, she'd be the type that would overwork herself and be too hard on herself. And I think we see that a little bit. I don't like to comment on women's appearances, but I'm starting to see that showing up on her weight. And now this is alleged. It's all speculation. It's not fact. These are entertainment purposes only. But I'm a little concerned seeing some images of her lately, because it looks like some kind of worry or anxiety is showing up on her rapid weight loss. Now, I'm a bit concerned about Kate and how she's looking lately. She doesn't look totally like everything's okay all the time lately for some reason. And tying that into this Capricorn energy, Capricorns put a hell of a lot of pressure on themselves, a lot. And in the negative, they can be so freaking competitive. It's like nobody else can be the best. They have to be the best. And they drive their goals and their dreams, whatever it may be, whether it's like being a performer or being the top lawyer or whatever, to the extent that they become ruthless. And the main thing with Capricorn, even though it doesn't seem like it's a negative trait because it's not negative towards others, their most negative trait is they're too hard on themselves. They're too hard on themselves, and they pressure themselves to the point of, oh my God, getting physical problems, addictions, etc., etc., etc. Capricorn also sometimes needs to lighten up, maybe find a little humor in things in life that they don't. They could be a little uptight. Taurus actually similarly does that as well. They can come across as a little uptight. Queen Elizabeth, when she was younger, she, Altrincham, I think I'm saying it right now, right? Lord Altrincham. He, if I'm not, oh God, I'm sorry guys. But the Lord who criticized Elizabeth in the show The Crown, who wrote the, articles about her saying she's so uptight, etc., he was criticizing the fact that she sounded so uptight. She was a Taurus. So Capricorn and Taurus can kind of do a similar thing where they get too uptight and stuck in their earth energy. That's a thing with all earth signs, but I think Virgo maybe does it to a lesser degree because they can be more mutable, whereas Capricorn and Taurus are not. So they'll be much more stubborn, set in their ways. So you'll see that where they seem inflexible, they come across as dry and boring to people sometimes in the negative. But, Taurus kind of contrasts with Capricorn in the sense that they won't be as hard on themselves as they are on others. Like, you do not want to receive, as I said earlier, the fury of a Taurus. You do not. You do not. It is a scary thing to say. And also, they can be so driven and so stubborn in one direction, and it's almost like they shoot themselves in the foot. Look at somebody like 6ix9ine, Tekashi 6ix9ine, the guy with the multicolored hair. Look what he did. He got himself into a huge predicament because he thought he was infallible. It's like the bull charging through a china shop, knocking everything over, going in one direction that they feel they need to go in because of their stubbornness. Also Taurus, they are very, very giving to people they care about or they really like or love. Very giving. I've experienced this in my own life with Tauruses because they like Virgos. At least the guy ones do, like female Virgos. But they're very, very generous if they like you. If they don't like you or they couldn't care less about you, they're exceedingly cheap. And they will cut corners and try to save money in any freaking way they can. And in addition to that, like I said, that fury, that temper is frightening sometimes if it's with the wrong Taurus, male or female. And Capricorn as well can be a little miserly. I don't think as much as Taurus if they don't like people or they just want to save money or whatever. Capricorn's main issue, and I hate to bring it back to this, is like can be because they pressure themselves so much to be the best, they can get caught up in addiction like Elvis did. I feel like that's allegedly, and well, in my opinion, why he ended up getting caught up like that in that lifestyle, in that life, and what led to his ultimate, demise. But the main thing with Capricorn is, yes, they can be ruthless and competitive with others to the point where they always have this superiority complex where they have to be the best. They're not lightening up enough. And also, the main thing, though, is they're too damn hard on themselves. It's hard to live a life where you're so freaking hard on yourself, right? Where you're always picking apart, even more than Virgo, all your issues and thinking about it all the time and obsessing about it. So even though it sounds like it's not so bad because they're not really that bad to others, Capricorn really needs to stop being so damn hard on themselves. So that's my analysis, my assessment. I hope you liked this. I will talk to you guys later. I'll probably be doing another video tonight on the professional camera. I just finished this on the tablet because I started doing the other videos on the tablet, so I didn't want it to come out looking funny that I had so many different video formats. But as always, go to naomitarot.com if you'd like a private reading. I have openings starting on Monday. I have openings. So I will talk to you guys later. And thank you so much for supporting me. And I'm accepting donations still as well. All on the website. All the buttons are there. Bye-bye.